Hello, tabletop baseball fans. This is Tenacious Earl, and in an effort to try and not coincide too much with one of Tabletop Earl's games, I'm going on what is called Unlisted. I don't know if anybody will be able to come into the room to chat or not. Part of me is kind of hoping that I will just be able to play this one without too many comments, so I can get through it a little quicker, and I hope everybody else ends up going over to Tabletop Earl's channel in the stead, you know. So it's going to be the Giants and the Phillies. Against my better judgment, I've been feeling a little I haven't been in the best attitude about this series or this project. The Phillies have been up and down, but that's baseball, and I really just need to get over it. So it's May night game in Philadelphia, so we've got to roll for weather conditions, and it's a 6. At night is going to be average conditions. So as you can see there, 10 and for the lefties on singles, 7 for the righties on singles, and 13 on both sides. So let's get underway here. Pat Mish will be pitching for, and sometimes I just can't write. Be pitching for the Giants, and Kyle Kendrick. Phillies won this game in real life 6-5 in 10 innings, so had to come through with some bullpen and actually some late game heroics. So I didn't see how that, but I do know that the Giants went up 5-4 in the top of the 10th, and the Phillies won 6-5 in the bottom. So, all right, lineup for the Giants, the away team. Fred Lewis in left will lead off. Ray Durham at second. Randy Wynn in right. Benji Molina, one of the Molinas, catching. Aaron Rowand, a future Philly, in center. A couple of future Phillies in this. John Bowker at first. Jose Castillo at third. Emmanuel Burris becomes a Philly later on down the line, Philly property. And Mish, the pitcher. So Mish does not start out. It will be Kyle Kendrick on the mound for the Phillies. Let's go through and get working here. So against a righty, why is everything... There we go. I just had things switched up here. Fred Lewis against Kendrick. Kendrick +3 coast behind the plate for the Phillies, so that's going to be actually a +5 factor for. Actually, I shouldn't put that up here, because if we have to go extras like it did in real life, I'm going to run out of room. So I'll put the +5 right down here. Let's do Mish is a +4, and Molina -1, so a +3 for them. Okay. Fred Lewis has some speed. Can he get on base? Kyle Kendrick. And against the lefty, a 6-7. And that's a fly ball to center. And under that will be Shane Victorino, and that'll be the first out. And we're underway. Ray Durham. Batting from the left side, 5-10. And that's a grounder to Chase Utley. And Utley up with it. And with an accurate throw, converts the second out. Randy Wynn now, and a 2-12, and a ground ball to Eric Bruntlett, and he throws over in time for the relatively speedy win there, and that will end this half of the first. 1-2-3, and so for the Phillies, they will have Victorino leading off in center. Worth in right, batting second. Utley at second base, the third hitter. Howard cleaning up, playing at first. Then Burrell at left. Feliz at third. Coast behind the plate tonight, as I said earlier. Bruntlett short, and Kyle Kendrick on the mound. And this will be Shane Victorino against the lefty Pat Mish for the Giants. And Mish gets the better of Victorino. He strikes out, 1 down. Jason Worth against a right-hander, 4-8. And normal power here. Does Worth have enough to get it out of the park, or is it going to fall short? 1-7, and it is going to stay in the park, and that will be a fly out, and that'll be the second out. Chase Utley. And that is another 1-7, and that's going to be a grounder to Ray Durham, and Durham up with it and ends the first with no score. So Kyle Kendrick back out there. Going to face Benji Molina. That's going to be a grounder to Utley. Another one. Tries going the other way with it, and instead it's right at Utley. No problem there for their iconic second baseman. 4-6 against a righty, and that's going to be a ground ball to Utley again. Utley 2E14, and I believe he will make the play on that. I got to get my charts out here. I put them to the side. Let's just make sure that 12, I think 12 out of 14 is going to be, yeah, that's fine. Second out on a grounder to Utley. So 2 outs, Bowker against a lefty, 4-7, and that'll be the first hit of the game for the Giants. Need a 1 for a double. That will be a single for Bowker. It's going to bring up Jose Castillo, the right-hander. Doesn't have power against righties. He does have a 1 home run shot there on his own card. So Bowker at first, 2 outs. With a +5, he's going to try to get a lead here with 2 outs. But a 10 will not do that. Oh, we got a 2 on the D20. Potential balk. Kendrick is a 1-2 balk rating, and it is going to be a balk on Kendrick. He simulates his motion, and that's going to be that's going to put the runner in scoring position for Castillo. And so here we go. Do they benefit from that? 2-9. No. Kendrick comes back and strikes out, and that will end the second. So the balk does not hurt Kyle. And we will go to the bottom of the second, where Ryan Howard will be up. Lefty, lefty. And he strikes out on the 2-8. 1 out. Pat Burrell against a right-hander, 6'4". Fly ball to center field. Center fielder is Aaron Rowand. He is a 2E5. And a 15 on the E. We'll see if that comes back to bite him. E5, the 2 is the range will not be the problem. It could be the air. So E5 and a 15. Nope, he makes the play. 2 outs. And that'll be Pedro Feliz. Against a righty, 6'7", and he gets a 2-out single. Not a threat to steal. They won't hold him on. Here is Chris Coast. And let's re-roll the D20 there because it was leaning. Okay, 1-2. And the runner is not in scoring position, so that is a single with 2 outs. Feliz will move into third on that. And so, a potential dilemma there for the Giants. Do they walk Bruntlett to get to Kendrick? And I think they will pitch to Bruntlett here. With 2 outs, they'd love to get Kendrick to lead off the next inning. And let's see, 1-9, and that's a ground ball to third, and they're going to get away with that. As Jose Castillo throws to first and ends the inning. So 2 hits, but no runs to show for it for the Phillies. Going to the third, still no score. Bring up Emmanuel Burris, the shortstop. Actually, give me a second here. I could probably bring up... I can bring up San Francisco's stats here. Burris a 143 average so far, not very good. And we'll see what he can do here. 5-7, batting from the left side, and he's going to draw a walk. And so that will bring up Mish to potentially bunt. Just the phone is ringing. And... oh, gee. Political messages. Who needs those? All right, so he's an A bunter. The Phillies will be expecting the bunt, of course, with a runner on first and nobody out. So that'll make him a B sacrifice chance. And that'll be a 7. A B7 is a sacrifice, and a good one at that. It'll be towards the first baseman. And he will heave it over to Utley. Howard will. And that'll be the first out. So Mish gets his task done. Now it's Freddie Lewis's turn here to try and score that runner from second. And we re-roll this because it was leaning. Okay, so 4-4 against a lefty fly ball to center. That is Victorino. Victorino, that's one place that it's good to have him back. 1-E-2. Barring some kind of a freak roll, that should be an out. 1-14 is an F3, which is, let me see, runner's hold, so a shallow fly, and the 15 on the 2 is not going to be now. So 2 outs now, and it's going to be up to Ray Durham to try and drive that run home. Maybe should have tried to steal third with Burris there with 1 out. Got a pretty good chance at it. Could think about stealing. You don't usually do that with 2 outs, though. So let's maybe if he gets on second again. So Ray Durham, 2 outs. Against a lefty, 6-2. Ground ball to first. And this is Ryan Howard. This could be an issue. 4-E-20. And a 15, that could be helpful. 4-15 will be he will be able to get to that now. The question is 13 on the E20. And he makes the play. He accurately throws it to Kendrick from the mound, covering the bag, and they get out of that mini jam there with a runner at second. And so still no runs going to the bottom of the third. Both pitchers holding their own here. Of course, Kendrick will come to the plate with nobody on, so he has to swing away. And a 4-6, he's batting from the right. And that's a potential single for him because he is a weak hitter. Correct. Weak righty. 1-13 is a single for Kendrick. That's a 17, so the more realistic result, L6 for an out. Kind of glad that happened. That would have felt cheap. Shane Victorino struck out in his first appearance. Batting from the right side here, 5-4. Draws a walk, and with 1 out, you can imagine he will be trying to get a lead here on Mish and Benji Molina. Well, let's see if he can do it. 2 to 5, 11 or 12. We'll get there. It's a 7, so he does not, but it's a 1 on the D20. So potential pick off. Now it goes off of the second number. So 1 to 14, he's safe. 15 to 20, and he'll be out. And it's an 18. He's picked off. That's the second out. Wow, 1-3. You don't see that often, but Victorino gets nailed by Mish. And so Jason Worth, 2-8. 2-8. That one's long, and that one is gone. We shouldn't have tried stealing with Victorino, maybe. Well, I think it's still the right call. You can't take one result, one bad result to change your mind about that. But 2-8, it is gone. Out of here, 1-0 Phillies. Chase Utley now. Lefty 6-6 against a lefty. And he strikes him out, comes back after giving up the long bomb. And that ends the third, but Worth gets them on the board. And we'll go to the fourth. 1-0 Phils. And so it'll be Wynn, Molina, and Rowan to be the first three to come up this inning. And it'll be Randy Wynn at the plate, and here's the pitch. And that's going to be a ground ball hit sharply at Utley. Utley makes an easy play of it, throws to first, and that'll be the first out. Benji Molina, 0 for 1, a grounder in the second inning. That will be another ground ball at Utley. Takes it on 2 hops, and he fires to first in plenty of time. Molina not the quickest guy, and that brings up Aaron Rowan with 2 down. And that is going to be a hit. It's going to get in there. Will it get past the right fielder? No, it does not. He is able to flag it down, and that will be, I guess it was the center fielder, in fact. Center fielder ends up getting to it, but that will be a 2-out single for Rowan. And they will not be holding him on. He is not going to get a bleed here. And here's the pitch to John Bowker. And that's going to be a single. It gets through the hole, and Rowan is going to be able to advance to third. He was off on the contact, and it's going to be first and third for Jose Castillo. He comes up again in another big situation with a runner who was balked to second base. He struck out in the second, and here's a chance for him to do something about it again. First and third, 2 outs. And he hits a fly ball. It's going to head into the gap, but Victorino quick enough to flag it down, and that will be the end of their half of the fourth. Castillo leaves 2 more on, and still a 1-0 lead for the Fightin' Phillies. It's going to bring up middle of the order, Howard, Burrell, and Feliz against Mish here in the bottom of the fourth. Here from beautiful Citizens Bank Park on this evening. Kind of a warm spring evening. Not too warm, but not too cold either. Here's Howard and the pitch. And he swings and he misses. Strikeout. Second strikeout of Howard on the night by Mish. Fourth of the game. And it's going to bring up Pat Burrell. And he is going to also, he's going to look at that one, and that one goes by him, and that is the second strikeout of the inning, 2 in a row there for Mish. And here comes Pedro Feliz and the pitch. And he's going to hit one right at Emmanuel Burris, and Burris throws across in time. Feliz busting it down the line, but unfortunately he didn't have the legs to get there ahead of the throw, and it will go to the fifth. 1-0 Phillies on top. So Emmanuel Burris leads off this inning again. He led off the third with a walk, and he's facing Kyle Kendrick for the second time. And that is going to have a chance to get by Chase Utley there on the right side, and it will. Yes, it will. That's going to be a leadoff single for Burris as he tries to make a diving play but is unable to, and it's going to give the opportunity for Mish to come back up again and bunt. Try to sacrifice him over. He is a B bunter, but a B11 on the sacrifice chart. Well, that makes it 1-2, so they will continue to bunt with him. So 2 strikes and the pitch. And, boy, Mish, he's got a chance to beat this one out. Is he going to make it? Well, and he does. The 1-10 speed, he's able to beat that out on the B4 speed selection. And Burris will move to second. First and second, nobody out. That's the best kind of sacrifice you can get. And so it's going to bring up Freddie Lewis. And they're going to have to hold Burris at second. And they're going to try a double steal here if they can get it. If he can get that lead, he does not. So they will not try it. But he was trying to get a good lead off there at second. Maybe try to get over there to third and make it second and third, nobody out. So here's Fred Lewis and the pitch. And that's going to be a ground ball at Feliz. Could they turn 2 of this one? I don't know if Feliz is going to be able to turn 2 on that one. Let's see. A 2 range, and it's a G1. That will be it, as long as the E12 doesn't bite back with the 9. And it does not. He is able to get it to Utley, and Utley converts that for the double play. That'll be a 5-4-3, and Burris will move to third base. But just like that, 2 outs, and Burris is going to be at third, and it's going to be up to Ray Durham to try to score him with 2 outs. And the pitch. And that's a ground ball to short. That's not going to get the job done. An easy play for Eric Bruntlett. Throws to first, and the inning is over. What a killer double play ball from Fred Lewis. He looked like that inning could started out looking like a potential real coup for the Giants to try to get in the lead, and instead one ill-timed ground ball sharply hit right at Feliz. That curtailed that. So it'll be Chris Coast, Eric Bruntlett, and the pitcher spot if they choose to stick with Kendrick. And they probably will. He's been pitching all right. He has given up some hits, but it might be early to do that, especially if they get somebody on base here. Chris Coast. And he's going to ground back, right back to Mish. Mish gets it, throws to first. And that is the first out. Eric Bruntlett, 0 for 1 with a grounder. And he is going to ground it down the line, tries to take it the other way, and a diving stop from Bowker. And Bowker throws over it underhanded to Mish, who's covering for the second out. And I think they'll stick with Kendrick here. Looks like they thought about maybe bringing up a pinch hitter, but with 2 outs, nobody on, they're just going to go ahead and let him swing away. And boy, this has a chance to get through, but it looks like it's going to be flagged down. That little soft liner will be flagged down by Ray Durham, and that will end the inning. So no runs, no hits, no errors in the 6th or in the 5th for the Phillies. Let's see. The Giants currently have 5 hits, the Phillies 3. And but they are currently down on the scoreboard, 1-0. And Kendrick has, well, he was a 5th inning starter, so he if he gives up a hit or a walk, he might be tired here. So they're going to have to start thinking about their bullpen here in the 6th. And it looks like Romero may be a little on the tired side. So isn't Cianez. So they're going to have to look at somebody like Clay Condrey. And that's who they are bringing up here to warm up. And it's going to be Randy Wynn here in the 6th to face Kendrick. And against the lefty, he's going to draw a walk. Win switch hitter. He's able to work the count and brings up Benji Molina with a runner at first. And let's see what they're going to do. They're going to try the hit and run here with Molina. He is an A hit and run candidate, and they start the runner. It's going to come off the pitcher's card, though, and that'll be another, well, that can't be a walk. Let's see. That's going to be a ground ball to second base. Utley will only have the play to first, and it moves the runner forward off the hit and run chart. So that's going to bring up Aaron Rowand and Kendrick. He's still one hitter walk away from trouble, but a runner in scoring position, a hit could be a big problem. And against a righty, 4-9 strikes him out, and that is good. That brings up John Bowker. And they will pitch to Bowker here. They'd kind of like to pitch around him, but Bowker will be up here with 2 outs and runner at second and the pitch. And that is a 1-10, and that's going to be a ground ball to first, and Howard takes the play to first himself, and that will end the inning. The Giants have stranded a whole bunch so far. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and are still down 1-0. So it's going to be top of the order for the Phillies here, and Mish will be up in the 7th. This is his inning of weakness was the 5th, so he is past that. This will probably be the end of the road for him, as he'll be batting third in the top of the 7th. So here's Victorino leading off against Mish. He got on last time with a walk, and against a right-hander, and well, he's got weak power against righty, or no, it's his lefties. He's got normal power against lefty. Mish is a lefty, so 1-7 would be a home run for Victorino. Long drive, watch this baby. It is out of here. That is a home run for Shane Victorino. It is 2-0. Phillies on top. Victorino gets all of that one, and it just barely gets over the wall. Not a lot of power out of the flying Hawaiian, but he gets every bit of that one to get it out, and that's going to get the bullpen working for the Giants here. They will get, let's see. They will get Vinny Cholk and Jack Tashner, both stirring around here in the pen for them because they got some lefty bats coming up, and it's going to be Jason Worth here against Mish. 1 run across, nobody out, and the pitch. Fly ball to left. That's going to be a tough play there for Freddie Lewis. He's got a little bit of speed under his belt, and let me just see. I want to double check. I wrote that down a little. Yeah, that is a 9. 3E9. But I think that is going to be a play that is made. Let's see, the left fielder 9. Oh, no, he boots that one. He tries to take it on the run, and it slips off his glove, and that's going to be a 2-base error for Fred Lewis. And so nobody out, runner at second. I'll show you here. That is 11. E9, left field. 11 is a 2-base error. So with Utley coming up here and Mish, they're going to keep him in here for at least for another batter or two. If he can get Utley out here, maybe they'll let him stick with Howard. So here's Utley against Mish. 2-0 Phillies. Nobody out. Runner at second. Against the lefty, 6-8. And that's a single, and that's going to score Worth, and I think that's going to be it for Mish. Worth comes around, and 3-0 Phillies, and we will see the Giants make the move. Mish pitched pretty strong game up until this 6th inning. Only the 1 home run really was that much of a problem, but then he gave up a home run to Victorino, and then didn't get any help from his left fielder Fred Lewis. He had one go off his glove, and it resulted in a 2-base advance, and then Utley drove one through the left side of the infield the other way, and that's it for him. It's going to be Jack Tashner entering the game. So Mish goes 5 innings, and they will bring Tashner in to try and get Howard out, and if he can get Howard out, maybe they'll stick with Burrell. Now with a 3-0 lead, they're still going to try. You know what? They're not going to do that with Howard up right now. So Tashner against Howard, lefty-lefty, and a 3-5. He strikes out. 3 strikeouts on Howard now, and that's the first strikeout for Tashner. Now it's going to be Pat Burrell, and they are going to go back to the bullpen. The Giants are. They do not want a lefty facing Pat Burrell, so it's going to be Cholk coming in now. But Tashner does his job and gets Howard to strike out, and I think they're going to make a double switch here. Bowker, he is going to, let's see what we have available in, yeah, okay, Molina doesn't play first. I thought maybe Benji Molina would be rated for first base, but he's not, so we're going to have to find, it's going to be Rich Aurelia. Oh, I almost, so Rich Aurelia will come in and hit in the 9 hole. And he's going to play first base. Bottom of the 6th, and so he will, and you're going to put Cholk here in Bowker's position. He's going to get at least, they're going to try to get 2 innings out of him. And so Aurelia will go in Mish's spot, and Bowker will take a seat. Okay, and Aurelia, so what I do for this is I just get rid of Bowker's rating, and then I'll put Aurelia's right over here at first base. He is a 3E12, so not too bad there. Okay, so that brings up Pat Burrell against Vinny Cholk. 1 out. Cholk is a -2, so that's gonna, I think Utley will still try to get a lead. Molina -1, so that's a -3 altogether. If he can get a lead, it would still be a 1-14 chance with 1 out, and I think that's worthy of it. So he needs a 5, and it gets a 4, so no good lead, and so he will stay put with Burrell at the plate. And so Burrell against Cholk. And a 3-9, he strikes out. 2 outs, and it's going to bring up Pedro Feliz. Could have used Jeff Jenkins there, but they don't want to toy with that too much at this point. Pedro Feliz, 2 outs. Runner at first. Against a righty, 6-5. And that one is long, and that one is gone. Vinny Cholk gives up the 2-run bomb to Pedro Feliz, and just like that, the Phillies are ahead 5-0. 2 RBIs for Feliz and a 4 spot here in the 6th, and that's not what the Giants had in mind when they brought in Cholk. Here's Chris Coast, and there's a 4-4 against a righty, and that's going to be a ground ball to Castillo, 3E24, and I believe he will make the play on that. Oh, no, he does not. That's going to be an error. he gets to it, but then third base, it's an E24 and a 12, and if you add these up, it's 12, so that is a one base error on E5, so 2 errors in the inning. The one definitely cost them with Worth, and in reality, they should have been out of the inning before that home run by Felice, so Utley's run will be unearned as well. So that brings up Eric Bruntlett with Coast at first on the air, and here we go. Let's see the pitch, and it's going to be a fly ball to left. In comes Lewis, and this time Lewis is able to grab it. The inning will be over, and that was a long, laborious inning for those Giants in the field. They give up 4 runs on 3 hits, 2 big home runs. Like that kind of sounds what do you want to call it? Grammatically incorrect. But so the Phillies did not have to pinch hit for Kendrick. Kendrick's spot did not come up. But they are still going to go with Condrey here in the 7th inning. So with a 5-run lead, he could go 2 innings. But if they bring him in here, then... So what they will do is... they will make a double switch themselves. They're going to bring in Condrey. You know what? They're not going to bring him in. So Kendrick is still okay at the moment. So they're going to hold off on Condrey. If they get into trouble, they will bring him in. They will wait for the next inning if they can get away with it. And it'll bring up Jose Castillo here in the 7th. To face Kendrick. I'm going to zoom this out a little bit now so I can get everything in. And here we go. Castillo against Kendrick in the 7th. 5-0 Phillies. And against a righty, that's going to be a potential single. Might sneak by the shortstop here, but no, it does not. It's going to be caught by Bruntlett on the liner, and that'll be an out. Needed a 1-7 for a right-hander, so it's going to bring up Emmanuel Burris. He is 1 for 1. He's been on base twice, but has not scored. As we've said, the Giants are scoreless at the moment. And against a lefty, that's going to be another hit for Burris. He'll be 2 for 2 as that one gets into the gap, but it's going to be flagged down by Victorino, and he's going to toss it in before any runs can come across. Or not runs can come across. Sorry. Before he can... It makes a big turn, but unable to get into second. So it's going to bring up Rich Aurelia. And they will see if Kendrick can get Aurelia out here. Burris, he's going to try to get a lead off of Kendrick. It's a 7. He will not get a good lead. Oh, but it's a 2 on the D20. So there you go. There is a potential balk. We already had a balk on Kendrick. Will it happen again in this game? It does. Wowee. How often have you seen that? 2 balks in a game. And I guess this umpire is just very touchy with the way he wants the guy delivering the ball. So that's going to be a balk. Runner at second for Aurelia. Double play is broken up. And... looks like Condrey might be coming in here. And another 2 on the D20. We've had 3 rolls. 2, 1, 2 on the D20. That is fishy, to say the least. So with a 4 on the D6 there, we have to look at passed ball. Coast is a 0, so that doesn't matter. So we just re-roll everything. So Aurelia again. And that's a 4-8 against a righty, and that's a walk. Sets up the double play, and the Phillies have seen enough. Finally, Kendrick is going to go away. They will bring in Condrey, but now they have to do they're going to double switch themselves here. So he's going to go where Bruntlett is. That'll be Z. Kendrick, 6 1/3. But he's responsible for the two guys that are on, and your double switch mate is going to be Dobbs. He's going to play third base. And let's just go ahead and do that. So Feliz is going to move to shortstop. And we're going to get rid of Bruntlett's rating because that's where the pitcher's going to be. And then we're going to put... So here we go. We got Dobbs is going to be here, and he's a 4E13 with a 12 running rating. Oh, that reminds me, I also didn't put in Aurelia. He's an 11, so let's just... because we may need to know that a little later. And so it's going to mean Bruntlett is out. And Dobbs will be at the top of the order. And Feliz is a 4E48 at shortstop. So this is not optimal. And it's going to be Condrey on the mound. So here we go. First and second, one away. Fred Lewis against the righty. And it's another 2 on the D20. I'm going to have to get rid of this D20. That is... So, still, Coast does not have a passed ball rating, so because it was a 4. So we re-roll everything. For 6 against a lefty, and that's a single 2-star. A run's going to come in to score. And Aurelia will be able to move up to third. First and third, 1 out still, and it's going to be Ray Durham. So here we go. And against a lefty here, 5-6, and that's going to be, oh, that's a perfect play for the Phillies right there. That's going to be a ground ball to Utley. He starts the double play. Feliz turns it, and that is it. Only 1 run across after all of that. And Phils thank their heavens that Condrey induces that double play, because that could have been a heck of a lot worse. So 1 run, it's 5-1. Phillies on top, and they will go to the 7th inning stretch. And next up will be Greg Dobbs against Vinny Cholk. Cholk still in the game here. So here's Greg Dobbs against Cholk. Against a left-hander for 7. A 1-4 would be a double. Can it get through and into the gap? And it does. There's a double for Greg Dobbs. And that's a great way for him to lead off the inning. Brings up Shane Victorino. Victorino against Cholk. Batting from the left side. And against the lefty, that's a ground ball to short. Got to take a look at Burris here, 4E28. With Dobbs, they won't have to hold him on second, so it's going to still stay the 4E28. 4 and 11, it's a G3. The runner will be able to advance, and a 10 on the E28. No error. But that will move the runner up, kind of a dribbler that Burris has to come in on. He has no recourse to throw over to third. Instead, he just has to take it to first and get Speedy Victorino for the first out. Jason Worth, 1 away, and runner 90 feet away. Can he hit one to the outfield and get that run home? And that is against a righty, a 6-10. That's a liner right at third base. Boy, that could have snuck through and would have been another run for the Phillies instead. Castillo snags it, and that puts them 1 out away from being out of this little jam. And here's Chase Utley. And the pitch. Can't really pitch around him here. 1-9. That's a fly ball to center. And racing towards it is Rowan, and he makes the catch. And that will be it for the 7th. No runs on a hit. They leave Dobbs stranded at third base, and it'll be 5-1 going to the 8th. So Condrey out for a second inning of work. If he gets through this easily, they might give him a third to see if they can give him a three inning save. But here's Randy Wynn. Durham almost came back up again. Wynn, and that's going to be a single, and that's drives it right through the hole into left, and so Wynn gets that done. And so they need runs. He's probably not going to be looking to steal at this point. Molina, and they swing away with Molina against a righty, 6-6. Oh, and that is a ground ball. That's a tailor-made double play. Feliz grabs it, throws to Utley. Utley over to first and in time and gets the catcher. No problem. That's going to bring up Aaron Rowan with nobody on and 2 out. Pitcher spot up next. And against a righty, that's going to be a single. And that brings up the pitcher spot, and that means that the Giants will get... They're going to get Merkin Valdez warming up. So, and they will have to bring in a pinch hitter. So it will be... So against the righty, they will bring in Eugenio Velez. And so Velez with a runner at first. Rowan with Velez not being a very powerful hitter, he's going to try to see if he can get a lead. Needs a 4 or a 6. Condrey -1, Coast +2. So there's, and it's a 2, so he does not get the lead. And so it'll be Velez swinging away now. And against a lefty, 6-7, a ground ball to second. This is going to be for Utley. They were not holding Rowan on, so 2 and a 4. Uh-oh. They weren't holding him on, so it's gonna. He gets to it, and he is going to make the play, and they'll be out of the inning. Giants fans may feel aggrieved that I didn't try to hit and run or try to move Wynn along with a stolen base or something, but I don't know. I feel like sometimes you hurt your team and other times you help your team by doing that. So I don't know. It's tough to tell at times what's the best way to go. And so, yeah, Valdez is going to come in here. Chilke went 1 2/3. Bottom of the 8th, it is 5-1 Phillies. And Merkin Valdez will be in to face Howard, Burrell, and Feliz, who has moved to shortstop. And so here is Ryan Howard against Valdez, a righty. 1-7. Uh-oh. Long drive, watch this baby, and it's going to stay in. It's going to hit off the wall, but that's going to be a double for Howard. So, brings up Pat Burrell. Another 1-7. That's going to be a ground ball to short. Runner cannot move up. 1 down. Feliz. This guy's leaning, so we got to re-roll it. That's 6-11. I wasn't going to change it. 6-11 against a righty. Fly ball to right field. That's going to be Wynn, 2E3. And he makes the play. Well, does he make the play? 14 on the E3. I think he does. Yes, he does. 2 outs. Brings up Chris Coast with a runner at second and 2 outs. And 4-11, that's a fly ball to left, and that will be caught by Lewis out there. And the leadoff double is stranded. So we're going to go to the top of the 9th. And they're going to leave Condrey in here. He gave up 2 hits, but he is not yet weakened. He's a 2-inning reliever. It's not a save situation. And he gave up 2 hits. If he gives up another 2 hits or 2 walks or a combination of the 2, then he would be tired. But they're going to try and let him get a save on a 3-inning workload. Here is Jose Castillo. Oh, you know what? He can't get the save, but that's okay. Kendrick got an out there in the 7th, so against a righty, 6-6, ground ball to short. That's 1 out. Emmanuel Burris. Let's see. Do they have anybody here that's got any better? They're going to pinch hit with Steve Holm here. Are they? Yeah, they will. Holm looks a little better than Burris, so... And they've got Aurelia already in the 9 hole, so it's not like they have to use anybody else to pinch hit. So Steve Holm against Condrey with 1 out. And against a righty, 4-3, fly ball to right field. Jason Worth, a 2E3. Is that right? Yes, he is. Same as Wynn. And, that's a high roll on those D6s. Let's check it out here. That is 10. That's 16 on an E3. Oh boy, if he were E2, that'd be a problem. But E3 is a 15. And so 16 makes the play. And that's the 2nd out. And so Rich Aurelia will be the last chance. They need to get somebody on base here. So Aurelia, 2 outs. And that's going to be a grounder back to Condrey. Condrey throws to first. Nice, lazy throw. Aurelia getting later on here in his career. Doesn't have much speed, and that will be it. 5-1 is your final here in Philadelphia. They do take the first game here in this series. As Kyle Kendrick doesn't exactly instill a lot of confidence in Phillies fans with this outing, but he does come through with the victory as he's able to go 6 1/3 and only gives up the 1 run. 1-run charge to him on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hits. 9 hits for the Giants. And how many for the Phillies? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 hits for the Phillies. So a rather economical day for the Fightins. They get 5 runs on 8 hits. How many left on base? 2 here. 3, 4, 5. 5 for the Phillies. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 left for the Gigantes. I guess that's one of the names for them. They have 2 errors at the very, very least. There were 2 errors in the 6th inning for them, and I believe there was 1 on the Phillies somewhere. I have to double check. Nope, no errors. So that's your final. Mish gets the loss. The win for Kendrick. No save because it wasn't a full 3 innings for Condrey, so unfortunately for him, he didn't have a chance at that. But on the other hand, we have an under 1 hour video, which is a plus for me. Usually these things take longer. So this is game 1. I'm not sure when I'll do game 2, if it'll be later tonight or tomorrow. But nice to get a win under their belt. The Phillies now 14-16. They need to really climb up a bit, but there's a lot of time left in the season. That's one of the things about my ranting that, I know it's probably, it's got its fun, but on the other hand, what's really to rant about in the end? It stinks to see your team lose, but that's baseball, and I really need to just, accept that that kind of thing is going to happen, and you can't, it's unpredictable. It's, the teams are in general are relatively even each game, so it's not like you have, this wide margin. Sure, you have some super teams that are out there, but, And I was saying to Tabletop Earl the other night, that was last night, I think when we're in a situation where we feel like our team has done a great thing when it comes to, the playoffs, World Series, whatever, we forget that there are probably a lot of tense moments in the playoffs. In the regular season, not really in the playoffs. Usually the playoffs, they do have their tense moments, but in general, if you win the World Series, you're going to have your good moments too. But we tend to gloss over the times when things got a little rough. But I do think in this 2008 season, the Phillies, I don't think they had too many down streaks. So, which probably doesn't help my psyche much when I think back and don't, maybe I didn't have too many of those multiple loss, streaks. So, all right, I'm going to close it down here and let it get uploaded, and then I'll release to everybody. Thanks for watching. We invite you to subscribe to the channel here. You'll get all of our videos. I'm Tenacious Earl. I run this project, which is the Phillies Super Advanced As Played Replay. I also run the Tenacious Baseball League, which is based out of the 2016 set. 10 teams, and it's a 54-game schedule, and so I'm going to get that back going here soon. But Tabletop Earl, he's got a Koufax replay. He's playing Pine Tar Baseball, which is it's not Stratomatic, it's a different game altogether. He does some ATBA, he does all sorts of other games. He's much more varied than I am. But you can find us both here, and so if you subscribe, you'll get updates when we're in the midst of playing a live game. You'll get info if we upload something from offline. You'll see it right in your subscriptions, and it's great. And if you could like this video as well, if you have been entertained by this and you like the project, give it a like. I would really appreciate that. I think YouTube tends to give favor to those that have been liked, as far as bringing them up in other searches and things. Not other searches, but if someone searches on Stratomatic, I'd love for them to see this game, because I think it's something that people may be interested in who are into tabletop baseball. So, thanks a lot. We're on Facebook as well. We're on Twitter. Look up Tabletop Baseball on Facebook. Twitter, it's Tabletop Baseball at Tabletop Baseball. It's got an L truncated off of it because that string is too long. So, you can find us there. Leave us comments on the videos here. You can comment on Facebook. You can comment on Twitter. Tweet at us. We will respond. I'm also on Twitter at Tenacious Strat. And I have a channel too, Tenacious Strat, if you really want to check it out. I don't post videos there anymore because I was invited here. But you can find many other things. There's some tutorials there. There is my first TBL project is still over there, and it's probably going to stay there. So you can see what happens with that. So, your final here for May 2nd, 2008, the Philadelphia Phillies get their 14th win of the season, run the record of 14-16, beating the San Francisco Giants in the first game of this 3-game series, 5-1. Thank you for watching, and as always, we hope you strat on, and God bless.